not going to start off by asking you guys who's in sports because it's obvious there's a lot of athletic people in here, but who here knows what cauliflower ear is or looks like? Oh, quite a few. For those of you who don't know, everybody's seen a boxing match, right? Everybody's seen where the guy gets punched enough times in the eye where the skin starts to close around the eye. Cauliflower is a lot like a swollen eye. What happens is your ear, it gets rubbed against or it gets punched enough times where the skin too swells around the ear. So what it does is like your ear, the skin inside the ear swells up, so it makes you have like a flat ear. But the difference between cauliflower ear and a swollen eye in boxing is that a swollen eye will heal on its own. You can put ice on it and it'll swell down. Cauliflower ear, it won't heal on its own. You have to get it surgically removed. And it looks really nasty. Headgear has been around since 1958 when Cliff Keen first invented it for wrestling. And this is my wrestling headgear. I've had this throughout my 4 years in high school. Pretty nasty and dirty. Probably don't want to touch them. By learning more about the headgear, you'll understand more about the wrestling culture, and now I'll go in depth about the culture and how I identify with it. According to an article posted on studentdream.com, wrestling is divided into 4 different types based on rules and style. There's freestyle, professional, Greco-Roman, and collegiate. Collegiate is the most commonly practiced because it's practiced in high school, college, and it was in the Olympics before it got taken out. Headgear is important in the wrestling culture because it protects your ears from cauliflower, it protects your ears from getting ripped during practice or even getting your ears ripped off. I think it takes like 8 pounds to rip your ear off. I mean, Mike Tyson did it in a fight, so it can't take that much. Personally, being in practice without using my headgear, I would go home that night, take a shower, wash my hair, and then the bottom of my ear would burn because I got rips in the bottom of my ears. So that sucked. Headgear in the wrestling culture could also be a sign of advertisement. I'm sure you know in the wrestling world that the color white means that you're legit. Like if somebody showed up in all white shoes, had white headgear, and had like blonde hair, that means you're not to be messed with, to be taken seriously. So it's a sign of advertisement. 5 values I've learned from the wrestling culture is protectiveness, gratefulness, creativity, self-awareness, and self-motivation. I learned protectiveness because of the headgear. It protects your ears from looking all deformed and weird. So in turn, I'm grateful. Creativity, I learned creativity because of the way you can style your shoes, you can style your headgear, you can style your hair a certain way. I learned self-awareness because when you go into a match, you have to know who you are and what you're capable of. And in turn, you have to self-motivate yourself. You have to give yourself courage and bring yourself up, know that you can win. Now that I've told you about the artifact, I'll go into detail when and why I identified with culture. Going into my freshman year in high school, I made a list of all the sports I wanted to participate in, and knowing that my dad wrestled in high school, I wanted to follow his steps and wrestle in high school too. So that's when I started, and I identify with this culture because I've been in it for over 4 years, so this culture is very much a part of me as I am part of it. The values that I use the values in my life today. Gratefulness, I'm just grateful for everything in life. Creativity, I took creativity and used it in the way I dress. It's creative. Self-awareness, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of inside and outside the mat. Self-motivation, I motivate myself to overcome any obstacles set in my way. And I use the value of protectiveness to always use protection, like seatbelts and other things. Now that you know a little bit about the culture, and I hope you have a better understanding. To sum up, the wrestling culture is divided into 4 parts: freestyle, Greco-Roman, professional, and collegiate, with collegiate being the most practiced because it's in high school, college, and it wasn't the Olympics. And I identify with this culture because I've been in it for over 4 years. The most important thing to remember from this presentation is to always use protection.